A beautiful bill. But for who? Donald Trump calls it one big, beautiful bill, a sweeping new law passed on July 4th, 2025. It's being celebrated by some in America as a massive tax cut and a return to conservative economic power. But beneath the fireworks and political fanfare, this bill could reshape not just the US, but its relationship with the world, including the Caribbean. Jamaica, like many Caribbean nations, has deep economic and diplomatic ties to the United States. From foreign aid and trade to immigration and deportation policy, what happens in Washington always echoes in Kingston, Montego Bay, and beyond. Now, Trump's new law could bring both disruption and opportunity. So what's really in this beautiful bill? And how might it affect the lives of everyday Jamaicans? Let's unpack the fine print and what it could mean for the Caribbean region in the months ahead. U.S. aid could shrink, and that hits hard. One of the least discussed aspects of Trump's bill is what it doesn't fund. Massive tax cuts, estimated to add up to $4 trillion in debt over 10 years, will force deep cuts somewhere else. While the U.S. military and immigration enforcement are getting more money, discretionary spending like foreign aid may shrink. That could hit Jamaica and other Caribbean nations that depend on development assistance. Over the past decade, Jamaica has received millions in USAID support for everything from HIV/AIDS programs to climate resilience, education, and small business development. With budget tightening and more America First rhetoric, these programs could be scaled back or eliminated altogether. A leaked 2025 State Department memo already signaled that low-priority aid recipients will face tough reviews. For small island nations, that aid often supports critical services the government can't fund on its own. Whether it's disaster response, school technology, or agriculture training, foreign aid is a quiet lifeline. If it's pulled back, countries like Jamaica could face slower development, greater debt dependence, or increased pressure to turn to countries like China. More deportations could be coming. Perhaps the most immediate effect of Trump's bill on Jamaica is in immigration enforcement. The bill boosts funding for ICE and Border Patrol dramatically, setting arrest targets as high as 7,000 per day and expanding detention capacity to over 100,000 beds. Trump's administration has made it clear mass deportations are coming and Caribbean nationals may not be spared. In recent years, Jamaica has already seen waves of deportees arriving from the US, often with little notice. These individuals, many of whom left the island as children, face enormous challenges reintegrating into society. With the new funding, more Jamaicans living in the U.S. without proper documentation could be rounded up, processed, and sent home. The implications are social and economic. Deportees often struggle to find work or housing, and they can place new burdens on local services. If thousands more are deported, Jamaican policymakers will need to respond quickly to avoid a crisis of homelessness, unemployment, and even rising crime. Trade deals could shift. Jamaica must be strategic. Trump's bill is being paired with a broader push for U.S. trade renegotiations. With new incentives for American manufacturing and fewer clean energy subsidies, the White House is signaling a pivot away from global economic cooperation. For Caribbean exporters, this means new uncertainty. Jamaica sells products like rum, coffee, bauxite, and processed foods to the United States. While these items aren't directly targeted in the bill, any new tariffs, trade preferences, or by American policies could make it harder to compete. Plus, if U.S. consumers pay higher prices due to inflation or new tax structures, demand for imported luxury goods, like Blue Mountain coffee, could drop. On the flip side, Jamaica might have an opening. As Trump pivots away from China and Latin America, Caribbean nations that position themselves as reliable, English-speaking partners with logistical advantages could win new attention. Jamaica's push to become a global logistics hub and nearshoring destination could actually benefit if handled strategically. Remittances and diaspora dynamics might change. Remittances remain one of the largest sources of foreign exchange for Jamaica, estimated at over $3 billion annually. But the new bill could affect how much Jamaicans in the U.S. are able or willing to send back home. While Trump's tax cuts are generous to the rich, many working-class and middle-income earners may find that their actual gains are modest. Some tax relief may be offset by rising healthcare costs, loss of benefits, or new payroll deductions. If the net result is lower take-home pay for Caribbean workers in the U.S., remittance flows to the region could slow. Moreover, rising anti-immigrant sentiment and increased deportation fears may push some Jamaicans in the diaspora to go underground, cut back on financial activity, or simply disengage. That's a quiet but powerful consequence. Jamaica's economy and its social fabric rely heavily on its global diaspora. Anything that weakens that link could ripple across generations. Is this bill a blessing or a bombshell? Trump calls it beautiful, but for many in Jamaica and the Caribbean, the bill feels more like a warning. A warning that U.S. policy is turning inward. A warning that old partnerships may no longer be priorities. And a warning that Jamaicans at home and abroad need to be more self-reliant and globally agile. This bill isn't just about taxes and spending. It's about vision. A vision for what kind of America leads the world and who gets left behind. For Jamaica, the response must be strategic, unified, and forward-thinking. Because whether Trump stays in office or not, the shift has already begun. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts. How do you think this bill will impact Jamaica? Let's talk about it.